for everybody who just wants to look at some critters.
Awesome.
The silent Azurias. Hello, everyone. Okay, I think we're live. If we're not, then this is all a big messed up experiment. We've got Russ from Aquarimax. Welcome, Russ. And we'll have a couple people jumping in and out if their internet works out. But yeah, I just wanted to go live now that I can because I have 100 or 1,000 on YouTube, so that's great. And trying it out and seeing all of the things that go right and wrong. Yeah. We've got Paradox Spot, Rocky Mountain Spider Freaks. I'm a little late. That gets everybody the anticipation, sweet anticipation. So welcome everyone. Yeah. So Russ, what's been up for the summer? You've been back and forth to Clint's Reptiles. You've had a couple different interviews with a few people.
Yeah.
45K. What else has been going on?
Well, like we were talking a minute ago, I've got my first litter of baby garter snakes that I'm working with. It's been a lot of fun, and they're really messy.
Oh yeah.
So I'm constantly cleaning up after baby snakes. But it's been a lot of fun. I've got a lot of booming isopod cultures. My little pseudo scorpions are breeding, and that's been fun to see. So some of my irons in the fire, I guess.
Yeah. You're definitely the isopod guru. Every single live stream you do, there's all these just random isopod questions, and it's like pseudo scorpion experts, and they're like, but these clown isopods I have, and you're just like, okay, yeah, I've got videos on that. So that's always great to see the go-to for you. I mean, I'm mostly known for mantises because they're kind of the easy ambassador to get everybody interested, but my main focus is cockroaches. I really like the cockroaches. So is there... Yeah. The isopods are what you're known for, but are they also kind of your favorite, or do you have a secret favorite?
I don't know. I feel like whatever I'm working with at the time is my favorite, and it's too hard to pick. They're just so fun. I do like isopods a lot, and I like reptiles a lot. But there's so many things. And I've bred and kept fish for years and years too. So
And yeah, the Aquarimax. I was just going to say that it seems like you're known for your aquatics, but that's kind of faded to the side. Hello, Jesse.
Yeah.
How's the internet?
Jesse.
I have no idea how my connection is. I have pretty terrible internet, so.
Oh, you're going right through.
Sounded pretty good.
Too much of a lag. You're answering questions within a.
Yeah, I have like the worst internet you can imagine here. It's like 1.5 Mbps, so I'm in the boonies.
Nice. I was just saying that to Russ. I said Peter has more bugs and less internet, so he's in paradise. So.
It's true, and he has better internet than I do. So.
Oh, there you go.
Awesome. And are you guys colder than us right now, or because we're having the heat wave? We're at 110 expected in Portland. And you guys are having a monsoon, so thanks for sending that this way. That's
yeah, you guys, everyone up there in Portland is all like, oh, it's gonna hit 113. I'm like, dude, it's been 15 consecutive days of 113 degree weather here.
Dry. So, it's dry.
Yeah, okay. It's hot. Let me tell you, it's hot.
I know. Yeah. Peter's been he's like, oh, it's not so bad. I'm just like, is it? I don't feel like our experiences would be similar.
I mean, I feel like 113 in Portland's a lot worse than 113 in Arizona, but that's only like one day of it.
I try to tell my northern friends I'm from northern Idaho, and when it's like cold enough to snow here, I'm like, no, guys, it's like so much colder because it's wet. Like you can put your down jackets on and be poofy, and your hair's kind of fluffed out, and like the crystals on your beard but it's cold here at like 30. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know, Russ. What climate are you dealing with? You're right, saddled in the easy climate.
Well, no, it actually gets pretty hot here too, but it's dry heat. I mean, we've had several over 100 degree temperatures here, but that's pretty normal in the summer. June is not as frequent, but we've had a rash of that. It's usually July and August when it gets hotter. So It's been hotter than normal. Yeah.
Yep.
But dry heat isn't as bad.
Yeah, I prefer it, but my lips and my hair don't prefer it. Every time I go north, I just chap like within a day. But awesome, Jesse, and you've got stuff back online. We're gonna have some uploads on some new stickers, and we've got some designs in the making. Did I see an update on that?
Yeah. I got some signature stickers coming in, and I'm currently starting to draw my designs for a new sticker pack that's coming out. I'm doing a Sonoran Desert sticker pack. I will have 14 different designs of animals that are from the Sonoran and the Mojave Desert as well. So it'll be a little of both.
Any
That's
sneak
so-
peeks?
fabulous.
Huh?
Any sneak peeks? What's one that you can't wait to draw? Or are they already drawn?
I haven't drawn any yet. No, I'm actually starting this evening.
Beautiful. Awesome. Well, cool. Congrats. Moving's super stressful for me, so congratulations.
But I'm going to definitely do a rattlesnake. It's probably my first design of the desert.
Great.
Cool.
Have you
I
run
don't
into
know
a
if I
few?
lost everyone.
Or we can hear you.
I lost guys. Not sure.
Don't click on too many things. Ah,
Picking up right now.
it's catching its breath. The dial-up's redialing.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Can hear you. Awesome.
Can I hear you guys? Can you hear me?
If
I
I'm
can hear
making
you.
noise with the blinking hands.
There it
and
is. I see you
noises.
again. It just completely went black for me for a minute. So
Yeah,
that's
you're
gonna
still
be how
still
it
on
is.
the screen, but yeah, that's
Oh.
fine. That's the best thing about trembling or getting through a live stream.
So yeah, I'm gonna do a rattlesnake. A diamondback rattlesnake is my first design that I'll be putting out for this. And then of course I'm gonna do the desert hairy scorpion, and of course I already have a Arizona blonde tarantula, which will definitely be a part of the series as well.
Sneak some old ones in. Nice.
But I'll probably make that like some special sticker, like holographic or something like that. So
Cool.
something
Great.
cool.
Super fun.
I'll have to do some kind of isopod in honor of Russ. I'll have to do some cool desert
would be cool.
species. You know?
Oh yeah.
I haven't done an isopod yet. Surprisingly, I love isopods. I don't know why I haven't.
Yeah.
Done it,
They're
but
fun to draw too. I enjoy.
Yeah.
You kind of think of them as a single plate. When you look, they have like a little back plate that's separated, little tail plate, and
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
as you
it's
draw
exactly
something,
what I
you
was
get
drawing.
more interested in the. I mean, I'm sure you know the
Well, I think
anatomy comes
I
to
might
life.
even do like I did the beetle pack. I might even do an entire isopod thing that's just all isopods.
That would
You've
be
been being
fantastic. That would be fantastic. I'd be excited.
I'll have
about
to
that
come.
for sure.
I have to come to you guys for species. I know a few.
Yeah.
But I'll have to get some weird ones.
Definitely. Oh, that would be great. Speaking of desert species, there's one, I think it's African, Hemilepistes rhameri, that is extremely desert adapted. That might be a cool one to do some art of. It's not
That would be a
Southwest
good one.
desert, but it would be a cool one. So
There's like an isopod down here that's kind of like this powdery blue color that's really kind of cool. It's like pale.
are those
Oh.
the fast runners, fairly small?
I think so. Peter would know.
Yeah, it sounds like Porcellonides pruinosus. There's a lot of them in the Southwest. I see them here in the desert sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that powder secretion help like hold in humid or moisture? Is it kind of like the
It may be something like
a wax?
Yeah, it's a waxy sort of secretion. It may help with the moisture. Yeah, they are pretty drought tolerant. I've noticed people use them in arid enclosures all the time.
Yeah, they're a really cool color. They're very ashy kind of blue color. They're pretty sweet.
Yeah, and it's fun how that turns out in different color varieties. I've got about 4 different color morphs with that species, and the waxiness reacts differently. Like sometimes you take photos of the pure white ones, and they just like
Oh, that's cool.
kind of glow.
Actually, I've seen those pure white ones before.
Yeah,
I think
cool.
Peter's had those before.
Yeah.
I'm all about my dairy cows, though. I like my dairy cow. Well, the rubber duckies are my favorite.
I just
Those
got my
are-
Panda Kings settled in.
Oh, nice.
I've got it. I bought a whole bulk of Panda Kings, but then I was like, man, I just want them to like look like they're in a spot, not just like still just thrown in. But yeah, I've been excited about those.
There's some pretty
The rubber
cool ones,
duckies
too.
are everyone's favorite, but I'm going for the Panda Kings.
Yeah, they're cool.
Striped.
They're my fiance's favorite. So, and they're adorable. I can't lie.
They are. and the dairy cows, I mean, they're hard to beat. They're some of the most active, big, voracious, eat out of your hand. That's fun. It's fun stuff.
Yeah, they're
one of my
cool.
favorites.
And I like them because they're black and white. And that's mostly my artwork. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be able to do that contrast really well. I'm just excited to see like being able to, because a lot of your like two tone, one tone contrast where you're just seeing the shapes. Because everybody thinks I know what an isopod is, and it's like, well, this one rolls up, and this one stays flat, and this one stands up on its legs really high and moves super fast, and this one looks like a duck.
oh, yeah, I want to do
The
like,
spiny ones.
I got it for that giant one. I want to do for the giant isopod, the big C one. I want to do it's just like front view of like it's like head with all its legs, and you don't even really see its back. It's just that's the design I want to do for that big one.
I like that.
Be kind of
That's
cool.
Yeah, position people don't necessarily think of, but it's probably the most intimidating way to look at the Bathynomus isopods.
Right. Yeah,
That's
I had
cool.
a lot of fun. I found in Newport area, I found these rock slaters. They're these big isopods. They're good size. I mean, they're about. I think the full grown ones were about 2 inches. They're really, really cool, but they were really hard to take care of because they dip their little like tails. I can't remember what they're called, and into the salt water, and that's kind of how they like breed and everything.
They're dipping their gills in. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. They did really well for about a month, and then they just kind of started degrading. I didn't have them in like a saltwater tank or anything, so I'm going to try it next time with maybe a saltwater tank or something. But they're really cool. They're big.
They're pretty cool. There's a couple of different species that I know of that are shore species. So where did you find these?
In Newport, Oregon.
Okay, and then I'm not sure exactly which species they are, but some of them are really.
I'll send you some photos of them. I have some video and photos of them. The littler ones, because they became adults. The littler ones had a lot of cool patterns and markings on them. They were really neat looking, kind of ornate looking. And then as they got bigger, they were just big slate gray kind of.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah, I'd love to see some pictures. Maybe we can figure out what they are, because Oren McMonigal has some that he's bred in captivity, some of the sea slaters that do just fine, and he has some pretty good care information on them. And if it's the same thing, maybe we could get those going for you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I mean, I'm kind of not around the ocean much anymore, but
that's true.
When I go visit, though,
yeah.
Yeah, I've never even thought of the ocean. I used to do a little bit of aquarium stuff, but the ocean tank chemistry is just goes beyond a hobby. You have to be kind of it seems like.
Yeah, that is like chemistry almost, having to take care of an ocean tank.
Well, yeah, when you see somebody that's like, and this is the 3 other tanks that are the water for the tank you're looking at. You don't just have a tank, you have
you have
3
a sump
tanks.
And yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, yeah, no thanks.
Everyone froze on me again.
It's
we
okay,
can still hear you.
I'm actually, if you can hear me, I'm actually getting a better service soon. I'm kind of thing. It's going to come back and because next time do that.
Your audio is sort of glitching out.
Rural is pretty important. Yeah.
You there?
Yep.
All right. I feel like this is going to be every 5 minutes. Like it's going to.
It'll happen. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, just getting into the live stream back and forth pacing is always interesting. Hi everyone in the chat, by the way. Rocky Mountain Spider Freaks keeping an eye on everybody. Man, one of their projects, Richard had that new Exotic Pet Collective podcast on tarantula science and things like that, and just talking about conservation versus the hobby, or is conservation part of the hobby, all that stuff. But they're doing a link with the Theraphosa, where they know the place that it was taken from in the wild, and they're returning egg sacs back into that environment. So in a way, protecting a female to create more babies. If I'm getting that right, if I'm totally messing that up, I'm sure we'll get a nice comment string in a second here. But that kind of programming is awesome. Really amazing. Yeah, being able to work with the species instead of just hoping that we don't have a hobby form and just sending stuff back out. Actually having a species removed, incubated, and reintroduced is similar to most larger mammal.
Reintroducing an arthropod is a lot more simple than reintroducing a mammal or a bigger animal that has different aspects of stuff. So that's actually really great they're doing that.
And just getting the funding behind it, enough people to think it's important enough it's easy to, fund the pandas.
Well, the Mexican wolves down here, are interbreeding with coyotes so much that they can't even find a pure DNA source for these Mexican red wolves. And a lot of people are trying to save them, but a lot of people don't want to continue breeding them because their DNA their genetics are so messed up already that they literally are just like, I think this thing is going to kind of be phased out anyways. But I don't know. I personally think that if we have a chance, even if their genetics aren't pure like they were back in the day, I think that we should still try to protect them. But
I mean, we just need to realize that we ourselves need to define them as something. I mean, trying to have a static species in a changing world is is an ethic
Right.
and reality all to itself. But yeah, the same thing with the
Yeah.
spotted owls in this area. The spotted owls
Mhm.
prefer old growth, and so they're protected under endangered stuff and all that. But also they interbreed with barred owls, which are a little bit, I don't care where I live, I'm going to make it. And so there's programs to gently said decrease the barred owl population to avoid interbreeding.
Right. I tell you though, the coyotes down here are like triple the size as the ones in Oregon. They're huge down here. It's,
Oh yeah. Oh, I bet.
Like
Yeah,
I was like,
super
that's a coyote. Like, okay, you know, like, all right, I don't want to get near that.
What rodent are they eating most? What do you guys have for the just
Oh
mostly
well,
crack rabbits?
we have the little grasshopper
Leghorn?
mice out here, and there's
Yeah.
just different mice and rats as well. A lot of birds, tons of birds out here. I mean, it's insane. The other day, in our bedroom, we have a sliding door that goes to our patio, and I saw like something moving through my blinds, and I was like, wait a minute, like we don't have neighbors or anything, so I was kind of worried, and I was like, oh my gosh, so I like ripped open the blinds of my boxers and was just like gonna yell at this person, and it was a freaking bobcat on my patio. I don't think
Oh,
I'll
no.
ever see that thing again. I scared that thing all the way back to Mexico. Like that thing.
Whoever was there was gonna, yeah.
But it also scared
Not
the
a
crap out of
welcome.
me. I was like, oh my gosh, like that
Yeah,
was not what I
totally.
thought it was. You know?
They're wondering was there anyone in your house right before, or has it been a quiet property for a bit? Because a lot of times the wildlife are like, hey, this was our new spot.
It is not. No one has lived here for a while, so
Yeah,
I think
that-
they were
that
just like
bobcat's mad
they
at you.
smelled something, you know, and they were smelling the chicken I was cooking or something like that the night before. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But I taught it a lesson, I guess, or maybe it'll teach me a lesson later. I don't know, you know.
Oh no, yeah. As long as you don't have chickens with no fence.
Right.
Perfect. Well, there's a bunch of people in here, and I've got a few things to give away. So how about if I ask each of you to pick a number from 1 to what, and then of those two numbers, you guys rock, paper, scissors? Does that sound like an interesting way to call a name out?
Sure. Yeah.
And Jesse gets to cheat because he has a long enough lag that Russ is going to answer, and then Jesse gets to... So it might just be whoever Jesse chooses. So if you can pick a number between 1 and 172. 1 and 172. That's a weird number, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna pick 42.
42.
I literally was going to pick 41, but I'll pick 28. Like, because
So we've got 28 against 42, and we're gonna rock, paper, scissors it. So Jesse, like I said, I think you might win because you have a lag, but if we go on the count of a laggy 0, 1, 2, 3, go. We've got a raised eyebrow and a scissors. Huh.
I have scissors on. I don't know.
Double scissors? Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, one more time. So 1, 2, 3, go.
Up. I got beat.
Okay, Russ.
I was rock.
The answer is 42. 42 is
That's
tied
the
to
answer to life,
Putin.
isn't it? 42.
It is. I should have just made that a winner to
Exactly.
begin with. Yeah, totally. So that's our first number. So I will let them know, and I need to go get a pencil so I can line it up. But yeah, great. There. Okay, so we got one thing that we're supposed to do out of the way, so we're not going to get in trouble for everybody having to sit around here. But, Russ, are you doing any kind of? Are you doing a 50K or any other?
I've got to do something for 50K.
One
It
of
doesn't
these
look too far away. And since I just hit 45K, so I'm close, and I'm hoping, I've got to do something. I'm just not sure what. Might do a room tour again or something. The last room tour I did was for 15,000, so maybe it's time to do another one.
Oh man, you got to do a 3-parter at this point, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
All the ice pods for that
Congrats
crowd.
to both of you, by the way, on 1K.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm still lagging in the YouTube department. However, now that I'm getting better service, by the way, I am going to start a podcast of my own. It's going to be called
Yay.
Shakes in Nature Live, and I'm going to be bringing on some really amazing scientists that are really changing the world and conservation today. So it's going to be pretty rad. I have, and one of them, including people that are keepers, as well as people that are literally working with these animals in the field. So pretty stoked about it.
Yeah, that sounds like really cool.
Fabulous.
I'll listen. I'm looking forward to it.
Is it going to be
Cool.
similar to your last podcast? Just in a
Well,
like,
it's going to be a lot
each
better
focus has an
in the
animal
sense
idea.
that it's
Okay,
going to not be us sitting like 6 feet apart, and like outside where there's like lawn mowers and stuff going on, we'll actually have like a really cool setup with microphones and stuff. I don't know if I'll ever get on like Richard's or like anyone's level like that. I mean, hopefully someday when I'm actually knowledgeable in this area, but we'll see. We'll see. But no, it's going to be awesome. And I'm hoping that we'll even get some of these scientists to come join us down here in the desert and go on an adventure with us, and we'll film that.
Yeah,
I'm
excited for
you guys,
the islands.
You guys got to come out, obviously.
Definitely.
Planning on it.
We got to go adventure.
It sounds like Richard's already coming down.
Yeah, Richard's coming. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yep.
He's going to be in heaven with all the arachnids out here. I have, just in my backyard alone, like at night you can go out there and you can see like, I don't know, 60 tarantulas like nothing. They're just all hiding in the rocks. Tons of black hole spiders. You don't have to find scorpions. They'll find you. Like there's just so many scorpions out here. Like, in fact, my fiance, I want to say 5 nights ago, got stung in the shoulder in bed by an Arizona bark scorpion. It was a night. It was definitely a night. But she was champ. She straight up like was like, I hardly even feel this, and I'm like, I cried like a baby almost when I got stung by one of these things. So
I haven't been stung yet, but man, I wouldn't. I don't test it.
Well, that's the United States' most venomous scorpion right there. So she took that one like a champ. So
wow.
It's just a reality down here. Like we have to like keep a black light at our bedside because if you're going to go to the bathroom barefoot,
look, yeah,
you want to be looking. So,
and I always try to keep that in mind because, like I said, my focus is cockroaches. I think they're great, but it's like I understand you may have a bad experience, and I'm not going to like push you through it. Which is one of the reasons I'm really enjoying the sticker aspect and like getting like your little question mark roach sticker is fabulous because nobody even recognizes it as a cockroach, and then all of a sudden it's like, what is this? And it's like you should learn more about what that is.
Although domino roaches and question mark roaches are freaking adorable and everyone should love them.
They're so cute.
That's just my opinion.
Yep.
But
well, and I mean, I love the roaches. That's one somebody commented recently is like, I can't call myself an animal lover because I just don't like cockroaches. And I was like, well, even if you don't like them, they're cleaning up after you and really transforming the stuff we don't want to deal with super efficiently. So it doesn't really matter how you feel about it. Like I always say, I have this shirt. This is that bugs don't like you either. It doesn't really much like bugs.
That's a great shirt. I have a
try
new
not to wear it at like the
out,
expos.
By the way, guys, I have a new shirt coming out. You're gonna like a lot.
Ooh, the Mantis one.
It's an arachnid shirt. It has arachnids all over it, and it says all my friends have 8 legs. So it'll be good. I do have a Mantis shirt coming at some point, but I'm doing that one first, and then I'll probably do the Mantis one. I want to draw a few more Mantis. I got to draw a spiny Mantis and a devil flower Mantis, and then I'll be good to do a Mantis shirt. Yeah,
you've got quite a few already on the table. The necessaries. Did we do frog feeding? Is that what happened?
But I got all the arachnids drawn. I didn't put a tick on there because ticks are nobody's friend.
Cool. So you're also doing like because you have like a sun spider and the pelican spider and a bunch of like you're putting all the weirdos on there. Yeah.
Yep, I have a pseudo scorpion and of course a scorpion and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna need to buy one of those shirts for sure.
Oh, there's Peter. The man, the myth, the legend that I see almost every day.
Right? I thought you guys would just log on together. I thought we were going to do the like your podcast thing. You guys were going to be sitting next to each other.
Oh, I mean, we probably could have done
that. we talked about it briefly.
Your powers combined. Can you just plug the two internets together?
Well, we weren't sure if either one of us had a good enough internet connection here in our new homes in Arizona because we're both quite rural. Mm-hmm. And this is a test for both of us right now. I guess I don't have that camera right in front of me.
Too bad. Yeah.
That's a little better. Oh, that's going to go.
Yeah, Jesse already said he had to chase away some neighbors that had more legs than he was used to.
I was sitting backstage there for a few minutes, and great refreshments back there, by the way.
Sorry. Oh, yeah, we've got Frog Cam is the producer today. Sorry, yes, I'm not on the.
So, like, are we live here? Are there other people like in the stream with us, or like what's going on?
Yeah, there's a YouTube on the side. If you're on StreamYard and you see there's a private chat and comments section, on your screen. You can go to comments and you should be able to see the live.
Oh, I see that. I'm on the private tab.
You're learning with
there's
us.
some
We're all
people in
learning
here.
together.
I never knew I could do this. Gosh, I'm so out of the loop.
Russ has, I think Russ's flock showed up. They're used to their weekly binge.
I do see some of my folks in there. Yep.
Oh,
Awesome.
I'm glad
Well,
to see all
welcome.
these.
Jesse was just detailing the Sky Islands. Super excited, as we all are. Are you going to try to make it like almost like a B&B website design, like book your trip, or is it just kind of email and see what's open next year? Or?
Well, you used the words next year, and I'm not really sure when I'm going to open it. Before we moved down here, it was just kind of a last-minute idea that I had. I was planning on moving to Arizona. I wasn't planning on like telling Jesse he had to come with me. I wasn't planning on purchasing a property that had a guest house on it necessarily. It just kind of all came together just out of nowhere. And because it had the guest house, I was like, people have been asking me for years.
I was forced at gunpoint, Peter. I was forced at gunpoint. And
I've been waiting for you to blink, obviously.
So anyway, I was just like, I'm going to have this extra guest house down here. I'm going to tell Jesse that he needs to come down with me, that I'm going to make it really easy for him and his fiance to move. They can stay in my guest house until they find their own place. And then we're going to start this new business where, because people have been asking for years to come along with us on the trips that we take. We make some videos for YouTube and Instagram. And I had an old YouTube channel before my current one that I started in 2008 originally. And people for many years have wanted to come over just to the house at the very least, or to come and see what we're doing on these trips, tag along, meet up with us in the Portland area. And so it just kind of happened. I was like, I'm going to have this extra space. And I thought about, throwing my 20-year-old daughter out there, just because I was like, it's time to separate, our lives here a little bit after 20 years. But then I was like, no, I think I'm right there next to the best collecting area, in the country. I can see the mountain right out my window here, and
Pretty awesome.
it's always calling us. So I was just like, I'm just going to open it up. So it just kind of happened. It wasn't like this big plan or anything. And so, I told Russ, and the offer is extended to you as well, Aaron, and Richard, who I think might be coming on later and has already announced as much on his channel, I think, that this summer I'm going to just invite people down for the sake of practice, so that I can learn where all of the best spots to take people are, not just in the sense of where the good bugs are, but where the fewest people might be, things like that. Where the chiggers are the thinnest, because they do come out in some areas. I've only ever had them bad once in my life, but it supposedly comes when the rains come, which are happening this week. Jesse and I are very excited about the monsoons. It's going to be crazy. So anyway,
I set my blacklight up, Peter.
Last night for the first time.
Yeah.
Did you see any Saturnids?
I saw one. I saw a white line sphinx moth. That was the only big moth I saw.
Yeah.
Which?
Well, it's just around the corner.
It is, and I already know there's going to be a bunch.
Is that a white line?
We just hatched this morning. I don't.
Sweet.
Let's see if I can get it to focus.
Very nice. I did see a
there it
imperial
goes.
moth in my yard that one night, but that's been the biggest moth I've seen.
That's a
Yeah, I was
beauty
excited to find. I found the pupa when I was hand tilling, and I was just like, "Ooh,
Oh, wow.
I want to see
Yeah.
that hatch out." I think it's
Yeah.
a male, unfortunately, so I can't leave it outside and have its pheromones bring the boys to the yard.
What kind of sphinx is it?
You'd tell me better than I'd tell you. It's got the.
I can't. It's too blurry for me to see.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm sorry.
There we
I was
go.
telling Russ I've got the smart.
I can tell you that it is named after a tree, like the poplar sphinx or ash sphinx or something like that, but I can't really see it well enough, and wouldn't necessarily be able to say for sure anyway.
I'll end up putting a post about it, and we can ID it then. it just hatched, so it just emerged, so I didn't want to mess with it. It's still in dry mode. I just made it spit out a whole bunch of "don't touch me," so whoops.
Right.
I'm not- Are you keeping an eye on backstage? Okay, yep, we're great. I think we're good. Yeah, I just messed up the focus. I need an autofocus. It's easier for me. But yeah, great. I'm gonna do one more since we're a quarter of the way through and everybody's so patiently hanging out in the comments. I always love the comment section. I'm not paying any attention to it right now, so sorry guys if you're asking questions. Peter, if you want to pick a number between 0 and 72, and we're gonna do Jesse again since he's so honest about his lag. So each of you pick a number between 0 and 72, and we're going to do a paper, rock, scissors to see who's the winner.
Am I saying this out loud?
Yeah.
Or just in my head?
So you're both going to have numbers that's your pick, and then you're going to rock, paper, scissors to be a winner.
I see.
We're
Okay.
doing weird stuff.
Okay.
Okay, so Jesse, what are you doing this time?
4.
4.
Now, is it closest, or are we looking for exact number?
We're
This isn't the Price is
betting
Right
on a
either.
horse. You're gonna be now Jesse's 4.
In case whoever I'm advocating here has the chance of 5 between 72, because I don't really know the rules, but I want to win and help win on their behalf.
I just tell you what to do, and then I tell you the rules later because I'm a weirdo. No, so you're each picking a number, and then you're rock, paper, scissoring for the winner, and that's the winning number.
All right.
So there's no guessing over. There's no spinning wheels. So yeah, so we've got 4, and what do you think, Peter? 1 through 72. I have a feeling you're gonna just pick Russ's. Okay, I thought you were gonna do 42.
5?
4 versus 5. Is 4 finally better than 5? We'll see. Okay, we're gonna 1, 2, 3, rock, paper, scissors. Are we ready? Are we ready? Peter's just like, what in the world? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Doubles again. Doubles. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Ooh, you guys. I think you have like a brain link.
Uh-huh.
No, I don't know. Is it?
I have paper.
Is that laggy, Peter? Shoot.
I have rock.
I saw Jesse had a fit.
Paper.
I'm gonna call that Jesse's lag or Jesse's lie. Which one was it?
No. I had paper. He had rock. It was fair and square.
Okay, Jesse wins. So 5.
No, 4.
5.
I had
No,
4.
you were 4. Excuse me. Ooh, look at him. Okay.
Bob Barker over there was 5. So,
Very a neuter kid.
Bob Barker is my grandpa's godfather, by the way.
what?
True story.
And I'm adding 100 to it because last time we didn't count anything in the hundreds. So 105 wins, which is Lindsay.
That's important
13.
for when we do bugs in cyberspace trivia. When people come for the Sky Island Adventures.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Well, yeah, so I can't wait for Sky Island. Russ, you've got your maybe room tour. Is there anything else you're gearing up for? Are you going to see Clint again?
Yeah, I'll be doing
Sneaking
that
on
pretty
Snake
soon.
Discovery?
We'll see about that. I'm really excited to go see Clint again. I'm really, really excited to go to Sky Island Adventures. That is, every time I look at anything you guys post, I'm just blown away. I'm so excited.
It's like that every time we go outside, Russ, for us.
I know.
And you know it. Because we can't hide it.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw the most amazing thing last night. I heard this noise off in the distance. It was a Vinegaroon that had captured another Vinegaroon.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was so hard to watch in one sense, but it was just a marvel of nature to see these 2 top predators in their habitats just taking each other down. So I got a good video of it too.
Was there an appreciable size difference, or were they close in size? Or
no, most of the ones I'm seeing seem to be carryover adults from the prior season that are venturing out to have their first meals because we've only got just a little bit of rain so far, but it's all rain this coming week. And I mean, I've seen as many as 5 Vinegaroons in my yard, just on a given night without even making too many trips out. So it's already gearing up. Bug Guy didn't have any records for May or June for Vinegaroons. And Jesse found the first one, since we were down here, in my yard one morning in the month of May. So it's looking very promising for very regular, abundant sightings of them.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. It would be worth it just to see the Vinegaroons, and there's so much more out there. The biodiversity is just astounding.
Absurd.
And everything's eating everything.
My fiance works at Patagonia Lake as a park ranger, and she found about a 5-inch long Scolopendra heros. Huge centipede,
nice.
while she was cleaning a cabin out there, and I was just like, I need to just go stay out there. I'll stay in that cabin.
My recommendation was that they relocate it to a safer part of Patagonia.
Yeah.
Jesse's house.
Also, none of my house. Yeah.
And that Courtney was just the person to collect it, not me.
Yeah, no, she's finding a bunch of stuff out there.
Lucky. Yeah.
What an awesome place to work. She's so lucky.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Do you see
She
the
said she saw
clusters
some
around like
ibises out there
town
recently,
lights?
too. Huh?
Are you noticing? I noticed that, like, you know, when you turn your black lights on at night, you can't keep moths from anywhere. Is that similar? Are you just not getting any light pollution from town, or is that specifically like black light versus regular street lighting, or are the streets just like covered in moths?
Oh
You
my
can't,
gosh.
you can't even pull your phone out of your pocket and have
Without
the
it just-
screen on without like 7 things landing on the phone and your face.
Yeah.
It's illuminating
It's
your
true.
face at the same time. Any incandescent bulb, any sodium vapor bulb, it doesn't matter. It's a buggy place. They're coming
I
at
miss
you.
it so much.
I'm pretty sure that I was having moths hit me just from the lighting of the moon hitting my face, and the moths were hitting me because
Light
it was
enough.
just like a beacon or something. I don't know. There's so many moths. I get like 30 moths a night in my place, and I just feed them to all my reptiles.
Yep. Nice. Yeah, I go back to the same docks that I was fishing as a kid, and I remember staring up at those lights and just seeing all of the insects. And I went back a couple years ago, and there's just nothing. And I was like, man, I'm telling myself it's the time of year, but I don't remember it mattering as it's the time of year when I was a kid. That light always was swarmed. So I don't know if the
It's
agriculture in the area is just spray heavy, but
It's possible also that they changed the type of bulbs. They're using different
those
kinds of
amber
bulbs
bulbs.
in the public lighting systems than they used to. A lot of them used to be the mercury vapor lamps, especially in more rural areas. And they've replaced those with other things that are less attractive to insects, partly because they're also more energy efficient.
Yep.
And so that's a big difference. A lot of people like to say that they don't see as many bugs as they used to, but they're also not, like 7 years old and paying attention to things, and they used to be not holding the phone up to their face all the time like they are now. There's always a lot of reasons for why that is, but you're an expert on your area, of course.
And that's kind of why I did the comparison. I was like, I've always been a bug freak, so I know that Aaron then trained Aaron now.
Right.
And I remember being outside the barn light. That's just where I spent my evenings, but definitely.
Yeah.
And I got so excited. We went to the desert in Idaho, and man, there's so many awesome beetles in that area. Finally saw a black widow, but they were selling bug lights. And I was excited thinking, because they had scorpion flashlights. There were no scorpions. I looked for a while with the black lights out, but they were selling them at the gift center. And then they're also selling bug lights, but they're actually what Peter's talking about, the ones that don't attract bugs. For a minute, I was like, there's like bug enthusiasts to the point that they have a light bulb. I'm so excited.
Quite the opposite.
Yes, quite the opposite. I was
How
heartbroken.
disappointing! So disappointing.
I had that moment though, like, why don't I have setups? We need to.
Well, when we
trap
first
light.
found this place, the person was telling us about this house and everything, and she was like, "Yeah, well, she's like, a big issue is that she's like, there's a lot of scorpions out here. That's a big problem." And I go, so what's wrong with the place? Like I was like, wait, like you just gave me a huge benefit. I'm waiting here. What do you mean? Yeah,
There's literally a sign as you're entering his property that says what, tarantula crossing or something, Jesse?
Oh yeah.
That you guys
by
didn't
the
put
way,
there?
Peter, there are so many tarantulas out here. We went further up on the cliffside, and there's just so many out here. It's absurd.
I haven't seen a single one on my property
Really?
Oh, there's a ton out here.
yet, but
You
I'm
seen
told they're
males?
here. I'm told they're
Yeah.
here.
I saw a Scolopendra out here as well. It got away from me though. It went in a rock.
Yeah, Peter, you don't have to outsource your desert beetles anymore, huh? You're just
No.
go get your
No.
blue desert.
No.
I don't even have to keep them in the house. They're crawling all over the yard.
It's mine. Yeah.
If somebody places an order, I just walk outside and pick them up.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. 100% organic, farm grown.
Right.
Farm grown, yeah.
I can take you a picture of its homeland to send
That's
you
right.
with. Yeah, I still have the blue death faintings. I just love them. They're such a simple setup. Throw in some food every once in a while, and the ones with the binos geckos are still doing great. I mentioned the biggest issue is I think they look for the eggs, but man, once I have enough geckos, I don't need that many eggs either. They're just popping them out consistently because they're parthenogenic.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been an interesting combo. And yeah, the desert beetles have been fabulous. I like the smooth death feigning beetles seem to be more active, and I've also had them burrowing randomly. I'm not sure if they have like a seasonal burrow pattern that they enjoy compared to the. Have you noticed a much difference, or do you just?
Well,
Everybody loves the blues.
all of the desert beetles and the death feigning beetles as well, they're always underground. You won't typically see them digging their own burrows. They'll take advantage of the burrows of other things, rodents. Jesse and I, we're not going to say where, but we very recently found a nice little spot for some blue death feigning beetles.
And desert harries.
And we found them in burrows together, which was really cool to see because long before I ever knew that those two animals could be kept communally, people were doing it in the hobby and without predation in the take. So it was really cool in the wild to actually see them in the same burrow opening together. It was probably a rodent burrow or something like that.
I'm pretty sure I witnessed Peter cry for the first time ever.
It's happening in nature.
It was just like us.
It was happy to see me through his own tears, but he might be right.
He was the Sam Neill just crying when he first gets to. They do move in herds.
They do move in herds. They do live in other burrows.
It's really awesome to have kept these things for so many years, and the Vinegaroons included, and then walk outside and to see this thing in the wild, like the Vinegaroon, just out in the yard. It's just the coolest thing of all to live here, and it has not sunk in for Jesse and I yet that we do live here. It just
don't let it sink in. Just let it slowly.
I don't know if it ever will. I don't know. And it's not even bug season yet, and we've checked things off of our bucket lists that we wanted to see once we moved down here, and it's already happening. You guys have to come down and check it out.
I'm going to get some plane tickets right now. I'm so excited.
Come down.
Yeah.
I don't have the guest house set up yet, but I have like extra, and they're quite nice, blow up mattresses. They blow themselves up. And I haven't gotten the guest house bed yet. That's probably the main reason why I'm not like just launching the business right away, because I have to get furnishings for it, and before I start taking pictures and promoting it and everything.
Plus we got to shit the bed like a cockroach anyways. So I mean, we got to get this custom made.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the pillow?
No, the bed. We gotta make the bed match the pillow. That's the whole place needs to be forming around the pillow. All right.
Pillow in here.
Well, and Peter, you were the one that suggested the leopard geckos with the desert beetles. That worked. She tried. She's a smarter gecko. She's not just a eat everything that moves sort of gecko. And yeah, she gave it one taste and was like, those are not food. Check.
Right.
And hasn't like her recognition. She hasn't even thought of trying again. And as soon as a different food goes in, because even my not so sight based or intelligent based fancy colored gecko, he has a preference to superworms. Like if he's not that hungry and I'm feeding red runners, but if there's a superworm around, he'll gorge himself. It's funny. So, and she definitely the other way around. She learned not to eat something pretty quickly. Yeah, it worked great.
Yeah, I could not do that with my crested geckos, seeing how they have one brain cell each.
Yeah.
And I
That's what I
literally
expected
could
of my
not.
Leo.
They'll attack the shadow. They'll like eat the dirt and attack the shadow of the bug before they even. I'm like, you guys, they're
Yeah.
special. They're very special.
I have my Leo get a hold of this not so smart one is not on a natural substrate, just because I think the reason there's two camps is there's two experiences, and I think I have both of those lizards in my possession, so I'm just gonna stay in both camps as well. But he'll grab a hold of the shelf liner that I have as his substrate, and he'll just give so many yanks and pulls and honest efforts. He's like, I know this is what I tried to get, and it's like, oh, buddy. But even he hasn't messed with the beetles, so yeah, they're working great, working really great. I was hesitant putting in one that I, ordered because, watching money eat money, just like watching two Vinegaroons nibble. But once I got the Darkling beetles from the desert out in Idaho, I got a couple that I was like, okay, these are my tester beetles, my free tester beetles. I didn't have enough superworm beetles at the time.
How did the Darklings do? I've heard mixed reports on that.
I mean, they're similar to what you've gotten in before, but yeah, they're pretty good until they tumble into the water, and even then, if I get them out within 30 minutes to an hour, they still do just fine. So I've put things for them to crawl out of the water in, but they don't get to them. So
yeah. Well, I thought you were communal with your geckos.
Yeah, they've been in and they've been just wandering about. They're up a lot. They're like up along the top of the enclosure.
And the geckos leave them alone?
Haven't touched them. Yeah, haven't bothered them. I mean, besides the first.
People say sometimes that their desert Harries will take down a Darkling beetle. They'll experiment. I'll encourage them to, tread lightly in that area, because I've heard both ways where they're fine, and I don't know if it's just dependent on the individual scorpion or maybe the size of their scorpion or the species, but it seems by and large, regardless of the scorpion species, the death feigning beetles are just fine, but they are a little bit more armored than most of the Darklings tend to be, a little less leggy.
Yeah, that's one of my most fascinating things. I wasn't that into scorpions, but watching them purposefully grab and insert, I don't know, when you don't know them and you've never experienced their interactions, you just think they must stab things and be like, I stab, I kill. But they really they hold, and then they kind of probe, and then they insert, and then they just hold until it passes away, and then start especially a larger prey that some of them, they're just like, oh, that's not even worth it, and they'll just start eating. But yeah, seeing that purposeful arthropods are always a little bit trippy to me.
That's true. Yeah, it's an interesting process.
Yeah.
Scorpions are definitely my favorite arachnids by far. I mean, they have that primitive look. I just love
Vinegaroons are mine.
Yeah, they have a lot of tools in their arsenal as well, with the whiptail and the feelers out front. But scorpions are definitely my favorite. There's just a lot of diversity.
It's pretty rare that they glow under a black light too. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, the glowing's pretty neat.
Yeah. For a pet, though, I would agree with Jesse that the Vinegaroon is the absolute best pet arachnid. Russ always does the best this and that. Have you done Vinegaroon for arachnid, Russ?
Yep, I did.
Yeah,
I did one on that, and yeah, they're hard to beat for sure.
Yeah.
Do you know their lifespan?
I'm actually I'm wearing that shirt, by the way, Peter.
Yeah.
I'm wearing the Vinegaroon shirt.
Oh yeah, you are. You've been frozen on the picture for the majority of the time, but your voice is coming through just fine.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I hope I had a really
Yours is
ridiculous
actually really good,
face.
Peter.
You did.
Good.
The best ones to pause on.
I mean, it always is, but.
Yeah, I bought in some of Dapper Exotics, ended up having a surprise clutch on her Vinegaroon that she's owned for 2 years. It just ended up having a clutch, and she thought it must be infertile, and now I have 10 extra little baby Vinegaroons that I get to watch grow up because it was
Moon over Miami mentioned that they have camel spiders wherever they are, and that's been one cool thing to find out here are all the different sun camel spiders that are out here.
I've never heard somebody reporting them thriving. I've never worked with one myself, but I've always heard mixed negativity.
Well, they're thriving out here in the wild.
Yeah.
Live a while.
Do you still have that one, Peter, that you had forever?
No, Methuselah died after. Here's the
Methuselah.
It lived for a year.
It lived 900 years, though. It's insane.
In camel spider lifespan, that was 900 years in terms of it in captivity. I made the video about it, and it died the next week.
Oh no!
Says, I've done my.
You cursed
I've
it, Peter.
done my
You cursed it.
I did. It was probably because I pulled it out for a minute. I don't know. I don't even know what to make of it, but that's that's just what happens.
It is. Yep. That's
It
part of the
happens to
bug
all
thing.
of us, Peter.
I see that. That's common with mantises. It's
Especially
like,
in
I
the
want to be into
2 weeks,
mantises, but they die so fast. And I was like, but if they die so fast, you get more mantises without a whole shelf full of tarantulas that are going to live 45 years. Like, let's be fair. You can make this decision and you don't have to regret it in 3 years because you don't have that mantis anymore. Like,
True.
you're not taking care of your child's pet mantis as he goes off to college. There's none of those concerns apply. So
Let's get this conversation in before Richard shows up.
right, the mantises. Yeah, no, I sent all those to him because he has such great. I can't do that kind of justice. So I'm just like, people don't even know that there are other mantises. They know there's green ones outside and there's an orchid mantis, and past that, like, what? Yeah, what do you mean? There's different mantises? It's like, okay, let's play the game. Let's get Jesse's shirt out.
I know it's coming. I tell you, I thought I knew a lot of mantids, and then I met Low Heat, and it's like, whoa, okay, like take me to Narnia or back or something like that. Like, what the hell,
yeah. The mantis hobby is extreme. Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
Well, and it's the same thing that we don't have the access to certain species. You see the like dragon mantises, and that they're just learning how to do overseas, and it's like, oh, mind blowing.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Tracking them down here, like same with the devil's flowers, I see them really spotty as far as when they're accessible, at least on the places I keep an eye on.
Well, Peter, you found some mantids just recently, didn't you? You found a couple males at your lights, didn't you? Stagmore mantis?
I keep seeing males at my black light and even at my porch light. And I saw a small nymph yesterday, and I saw another one that I was going to ask Lohit what the current name for it is. I think I used to call it a Leganocella mexicanus, and then they changed the name to Bacteromantis mexicanus or mexicana, and I think there's an entirely new name for it now. I saw it on one of my yuccas the other day. I made a video about it, but the video went on like for 10 minutes or something. I was just like, nah, I'm not going to put Instagram through this.
Peter and his yuccas, you know? God.
I'm at the yucca again.
And
you're still waiting for the unicorn mantis. You haven't found one yet.
We have actually a couple years ago.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, not year last. So we know where to find them. We know how to find them, and now it's only a matter of time.
Yep. Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, that one's.
And Loki reminds me every day.
He does.
Have you looked? Well, because he moved as well. Everybody's moved this season. I know Mantid Kingdom's moving away from me, which is a bummer.
Where's he going?
Across the country, because he's in Beaverton right now. But it sounds like he's still trying to sell his house and figure it out. But it sounds like I want to say Maryland, but I'm probably terribly wrong. I name their states. Like they have so many more states to remember. Like you've got 5 on this coast. It's not that hard. Like
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, somewhere where the houses are more affordable than Portland area.
Yeah, well, if he's selling in Beaverton, he'll do just fine over on the other side.
Yeah, and because I can go pick up multi-orchid mantis orders and things like that, and not have to worry about anything with shipping. So it's easy for me, and it's nice to always like see a human during quarantine. It's like, I'm just gonna do my mantis pickup. You're a human, okay? Bye. That's great.
Where's Loki going?
I want to say Chicago.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought he was moving just to a different part of California, but I guess I was wrong.
No, I think a couple people have moved at this point.
Midwest is not the right spot for mantises. He's going to have to know somebody in Arizona.
Right? Or just keep up on those crazy exotics that he
might know a couple.
On. Awesome. Well, I'm not sure if Richard's been in. I don't see any notes from him on Instagram, so we're going to do one more. Are we going to do a Russ versus Peter? Let's do the people that aren't lagging. So
Russ versus
if you
Peter.
guys-
I want them to digitally arm wrestle this time.
Let's do it.
right? Okay, let's do the 1 through 72, or 172. 1 through 172. You got
172.
a huge.
Okay.
What's
Almost
the
200.
significance of the number 72, by the way?
So I have a bunch of people that signed up for my giveaway,
Oh,
and
No,
they're
okay.
all I hand numbered all of them because I just have nothing else to.
people.
There's 172 people that are looking for
Oh, between 1 and 172?
this time. Yeah, the last time everybody picked numbers below 100. So last time I just added 100 to your numbers for the next time. I told you, Peter, I'm just making up all these rules, and you just have to play rock, paper, scissors. And I'm
The game is to all of us completely confuse Peter. That's the whole game.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
And he's not even lagging.
My number is 5 again because I'm confused.
5 again.
Again, Peter. Oh, like a terrible Bob Barker. A terrible
Russ, what are you
It
going?
worked the first time. I didn't win, but I made it through it without really understanding. 5's my number.
Five's his number.
I'm gonna do 99.
99. Okay. Well, rock, paper, scissors, or arm wrestle, or eye poke, or thumb wrestle. Can
How
you
do
thumb
you
wrestle?
do the arm wrestle? Okay, there we
Thumb
go.
wrestle Jesse. I can't do it. There he goes. 1, 2, 3. We've got a scissor. Ah, scissor paper. Russ is winning. Russ is at 99. Yeah, Peter, I decided I just want everybody else to have bugs, so I'm just giving a bunch of people bugs. So the first place winner, which will be the last person we're gonna, is getting their pick of a mantis, an isopod, and a roach species. So they get their beginner bug zoo. The two that just got picked, which is 99 and 105 from you guys, those two, or no, 104. Sorry, Jesse. Those two are getting their pick of a mantis or an assassin each. So those are two others. And then the first person gets either an isopod or a roach species.
How many more prizes do you have to give away?
I don't have to get what? Who's making rules? Oh, there's one more. There's one more. So we'll see if Richard makes it at some point.
Could I add 2 prizes to your
If you'd
contest?
Absolutely.
prize.
I won 1 rock, paper, scissors, and I think that would increase my chances.
If you wanna throw bugs at people, that's my. And also, it's international. So if somebody's international, they're gonna get stickers. Or if somebody doesn't want to add a new
donate
animal
an
to
entire
their.
sticker pack of bug stickers.
Oh gosh,
Cool.
so we've got six prizes now. 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 7 prizes now.
I can add one too. I'll
Oh
throw something in.
Russ, yeah, sure, that works for me.
Okay.
I just
I'll
I just
also
like sending
donate
people bugs.
a fun evening with Peter Clausen. No, I'm kidding.
Oh yeah, the Sky Island Adventures tour.
A candlelight dinner with Peter Clausen.
Awesome. So then instead of drawing one more name, we'll have 5 more names. Goodness gracious, guys.
Cool.
All these people hanging out on
We
YouTube.
added another hour to your show.
Yeah, that's as long as we don't randomly get. I think it's Zoom that cuts you off on an hour that everybody learned about on this last year and a half of Zooming for the first time. Is it after 4 hours? Okay, yeah, I've been cut off a few times with different. We were doing. I volunteered at a Raptor Center and they had to really shut down operations, so we were doing like a tea time on Tuesdays for the Raptor Center girls. It's a really good way to filter out your friends in this. I was like, I want the hippies that love nature, but that can also just cut up a rat for a random owl. I feel like that group of people with those 2 filters is, and it worked great. Oh boy.
So I'm going to donate a Vinegaroon.
Ooh.
That's one of the prizes. And then
Okay.
also a Dynasties Granti larva.
Oh, you're crazy. And the crazy ferment soil as well. You're the only person I've ever bought dirt from.
1 pound of the oak flake soil along with the larva. So
Awesome.
Awesome.
a twofer.
You're putting me to work, Peter. I'm gonna have to mix that thing.
Just gonna do both of these guys. Awesome.
So I
Well,
have
yeah,
about-
and so go ahead.
Oh, real quick for the bug stickers, I have about close to 20 different bug stickers, and they will get all of them. So
Sweet.
Bug mystery pack. We're gonna need you to.
Your time.
I'm always buying your mystery packs, and you always only have the like get rid of these stickers extra mystery packs, not the
Well,
that beetle one sold out in like a day and a half or something.
it did. My special ones sell pretty quick, but the Sonoran Desert one is coming soon. It'll probably be near the end of July that'll show up. So I'll give you a heads up on that one. There'll be a lot of bugs in that one too. So all kinds of stuff.
Yep. I need to get you to do one of my Instagram. I do these giant posters for when I do expos. This is Tetraceras, and the bottom of hers, because she has her pictures with like bugs doing stuff, and the bottom says, "I tell people I make miniatures, but the truth is I've been breeding some really big bugs." And she's got her tarantula.
I'll design something, put something together now that I'm actually getting back to doing things. So
it's been fun
in that manner.
And then there's the Etno. This is one of my favorites. She does the makeup for the species of bug.
Oh, that's rad.
I love that.
Cool.
Peter, you would look great with that eyeshadow.
I almost came in on a wrecking ball wearing a thong, but you got here first.
Perfectly
I
fine.
beat you to it.
We came up with a lot of the same great ideas, Jesse. So I'm just wearing the thong.
Oh,
Trying not to tip the camera.
Yeah. I mean, whatever happens, we're rowdy. We're not as rowdy as the tarantula live streamers. You hear me, Mountain Spider, Rocky Mountain. I was visiting up north and like had my mom. I was like, "Mom, look, all the crazy people," and she's just like, "Oh, that's interesting." I'm like, "All these people love tarantulas, and we're gonna talk about weird, random, not tarantula things. But beyond that, these are the tarantula people."
Rocky Mountain Oyster Spider Freaks, is that what it says?
Rocky Mountain Spider Freaks.
Rocky
Mountain, yeah, that makes sense.
Freaky.
Here's all the animal. Awesome. Well, yeah, and so beyond that, Russ, are you still working with the little red Hawaiian shrimp, the ope ula?
Oh yeah, yep.
I love those.
Did you say
Aren't they
shrimp?
cool? Yeah.
Shrimp?
I need some. I've been wanting some shrimp for a while.
Okay.
I love them.
You know where to?
I have them so easy to set up and keep. They're just awesome.
They're fun.
We caught this little crawdad at the San Pedro River, and it was like this big when we got it, and it's like big now. It's been like
nice.
It's staying in your tank,
awesome.
in your water bug tank.
Yeah, the thing's a champ. Which, by the way, Russ, do you have those beetles? Do you have the sunburst diving beetles and stuff?
I don't.
So cool.
Oh, you got to get some. Those
They look
are
fantastic.
Oh
He's
my
going to
God.
come down and get some.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Getting locked in.
Yeah. I am so excited. I can't even express how excited I am to come down.
We can't wait for you to get here, Russ.
The water life thing.
You're coming down during bug season too, which is we haven't even gotten to experience it from a living down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everything in that tank you collected there, right?
Yeah.
So awesome. The scorpions and the thin toe biters.
Oh, the water scorpions. Yeah,
Yeah.
Those are so cool looking.
Plenty of those down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the aquatic invertebrates, I realized I had nothing because I'm so scared of working with a tank that cycles, but those ope ula have so far, I have about almost every windowsill now has a tank of them because I just bought a ton and just set them up similar but a little different with each one to just see if one thrives or one doesn't. And the only one I had an issue with was I collected straight beach sand, and that one ended up having a lot of I think it was hard water issues, and so something in that sand from the coast did not settle in the water very well, and everything else was fine. The straight from the quartz sand straight from the pet store, and then Petco sells just like actual 15 gallons of seawater. Felt like a doofus buying seawater next to the sea, but it's clean enough, so safer.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
half strength.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those opiola are pretty much they're the easiest thing I've ever kept.
Same.
During quarantine, I had them in my office when I wasn't allowed to go in, and I fed them twice during 5 months, and they were fine, perfectly fine. Yeah.
I'll tell you what they can't survive is moving from Oregon to Arizona
Oh no.
in the front seat of the car. It was one of the few things that
Oh,
I found personally, because they're in liquid, obviously, and I don't ship anything in liquid up to this point.
yeah.
And they all it got too warm in the car one morning, I think.
Oh no!
And I'd had them for what? How long ago was that, Russ? Like 8 years ago
It
or
was
something?
something like 6, 8. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been
So
a while.
that was one of the tragedies of my move.
Oh, that's too sad.
Yeah.
Happens.
I'm excited to be finding some triops and fairy shrimp down here.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
totally.
vernal
'Cause they
pools.
just pop out of the wet once the wet fills the puddles, right?
Well, those triops,
Out of thin air.
yeah, out of thin air, just magic. It's a unicorn triops.
You throw some
You know?
traps in the.
Vernal pools are some of the coolest environments for aquatic invertebrates. Like just
Oh man,
watching how fast they grow is fantastic. And you've got the hotbed of diversity of vernal pool organisms right where you guys are. It's awesome.
Didn't know that, but we'll be looking.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that video, Russ, that I posted of the ostracods that we got?
I'm trying to remember. I may have
Those little
seen that
like
one.
sea shrimp. They're tiny.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I think I did see that one. They are very cool. I love those. And there's some giant ones too that show up. Giant ostracods that show up in Arizona once in a while.
Oh well,
So, like-
we'll have to find those.
You have to
What
find some of
What
those.
does giant mean in terms of size for them?
Well, for them, maybe a quarter of an inch.
Oh
Wow.
but that's big for them. That's
So yeah, pretty big for them.
yeah.
Yeah.
We had some freshwater copepods that kind of ended up in our tank as well. The little ones, but.
Oh yeah.
Really neat to see though. They're kind of like the plankton of the fresh water in there. Like everything seems to eat them. So
Yeah. Yeah, we were just in the Salmon River up when we were in Idaho, and I just flipped over some rocks, and it was completely covered in, I think, amphipods. And it's that moment where you want to show everybody you're swimming with, and then you realize they don't want to see what's under the rocks. They're trying to swim and enjoy their like vacation in the river, and you're like, look at all the bugs. They're in the
why it
water
was never really
too.
popular.
These are swimming in between your toes right
Yeah.
now.
You feel that? I got to introduce to everybody to the idea that a dragonfly isn't just out it's in the water too. I was like, that's why, yeah, they're laying eggs, and this is a baby dragonfly, and they're like, what? I'm like, oh yeah, yep, that's a dragonfly. And they're eating mosquitoes at all life cycles, so love them. They're good. They're in the water eating the mosquitoes. They're outside eating mosquitoes. Like all okay. These are good bugs. Good bugs.
Yeah,
We're
there's
not
this
missing that about Oregon.
Yeah.
Peter, there's this pond that we found that's out kind of near where Peter lives, and it's really awesome. There's stuff flying around, but there's so many like fish in there, like the little like minnow type guppy like fish in there that there's like no room for anything else hardly in that water.
Nibble and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, Jesse only lives about 15, 20 minutes away from me. He landed in Patagonia, which is really probably the coolest place for bugs in terms of the saturnids, the silk moths and stuff, and he'll see some beetles in his yard that I won't. So
I feel like I'm going to probably find
also
some
really
Christina.
glad that I know somebody there.
No,
I'm
that's
gonna definitely find some Christina out here. That's for sure.
I think I'm going to get the Gloriosa here on property too. Beautiful, shiny jewel beetles.
Yeah.
wow.
Awesome. Yeah, I have those harlequin flower beetles from you. They are. You weren't kidding when you said if you have a few, you'll have plenty. Boy, oh boy.
Yep.
I'm always like, is it that easy? And I'm like, if Peter said it was easy, it's probably easy. And then like 6 months later, I'm like, yep, that all checks out.
A lot of people end up using them as feeders.
I could see it. Yeah,
Oh,
easily.
Yeah.
But
Very
they're anything that's easy. I mean, that's my focus. When I want somebody to have a pet bug, I want them to have a good experience. So they're like, do you have a devil's flower mantis? I'm like, here's a ghost mantis. We're going to have fun
Yeah.
with that. And then you can go on your adventures as necessary. But I don't want you blaming the mantis on your misunderstandings about mantis.
It's best for everyone.
You know, someone just made a comment that said nothing wrong with pets that make more pets. I'll have you know that I agree with that. But my mother, however, really does not agree with that. She really doesn't like that fact when I was little.
Yeah. When I was little, I accidentally bred rubber boas. I had a Maine rubber boa female that was my buddy, and it ate in captivity, so we kept it. And then every once in a while, I'd get another one, but it usually wouldn't eat, so I just release it. And one day, my mom, we were like camping, and she went home to feed animals, and she came back, and she's like, "Why'd you put worms in the tank?" And And I was like, I'm 10, but I'm not a doofus. I didn't put worms in the tank. And it was totally, they're a live birth giver, just like the garter snakes. And so I released her with all of her babies that summer, and it was like adorable. I accidentally bred I mean, they're really bad about, they would always sun on the road, and most people like try to hit them, sort of a thing. So anytime my dad saw them sunning, we'd take them out back on the other side of the property and release them. So
I only ever saw 2 of those in the wild in Oregon.
Yeah, they're hard to. I have a friend who lives out in the woods. Yep. I have one friend in the woods that I've seen one snake, and like I was visiting his property, and he's like, "You want to see my boa?" And I was like, "You live out in the middle of nowhere. You don't have like a snake tent." And I realized he just knows where it is. It's like, that's the best pet boa ever. Yeah. Like, that's just your buddy. That's where she's at. That's super cute. But yeah, that's the only one I've seen in this area looking. I mean, just rough-skinned newts and garter snakes. There's plenty of those.
Well, Peter found a really amazing find in his yard the other day, which was he found a blind snake.
That was such a
really,
cool video.
really little one though. Like we found one in 2019. It was a good size for a blind snake. It's probably about yay big. This one was like, it's the smallest like snake I've ever seen. You would think it's a worm. Like it doesn't even hardly look like a snake.
Weren't certain species introduced that way?
What's that?
I think they were. I've read about at least certain species being introduced through the plant trade because they were very worm-like and would just be in containers as they were.
The flower pot snake, Rhamphotyphlops braminus, I think, and we had those in Hawaii.
Expert.
That's the only snake you can find in Hawaii.
Oh, yep, because Hawaii's snakeless, or used to be. Yep.
I had some neighbors call me once and say, "Come see this thing in my front yard. What is this?" And that's what it was. It was one of those. They had no idea what it even was. They couldn't figure it out.
Oh, and you're the guy everybody calls. You get to see so many critters.
It is fun to be the guy that people call.
I had family friends that just moved out to the Big Island in Hawaii, and they sent, or I don't know if maybe, I don't remember exactly where they moved, but they sent me a photo of one of those giant centipedes out there, and they're like, "We didn't realize these were out here," and I was like, "Good luck."
That's one of the creatures people don't talk about in Hawaii. You don't hear about that when you hear about all the sea turtles and everything you get in Hawaii. But they have Scolopendra. I think I can't remember if it's.
Piece.
Oh yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
It's introduced, or is it?
It's introduced.
Natural
yeah, it's introduced.
Assumptions, yeah. I mean, Hawaii was the first time I saw like a proper cockroach as a kid. And I immediately was like, "Can I take that home?" My parents are like, "No, you're not supposed to." So they're definitely like following the toddler that's trying to catch the cockroaches while the rest of
reality. Said proper cockroach, and I just envisioned a cockroach with a little bow tie and a tuxedo. I couldn't help it.
Make a monocle.
It was a dapper. Yes,
it
was
very yes. It only drink fine wine, That's all.
I don't know. I don't think of like the pest German cockroaches as like my represent. I mean.
Right.
There's so many cockroaches, but everybody but I think of like tropical proper cockroaches, the like great many species, which speaking of which, I still need to figure out. I have that multi-sex one that I guess I'm just going to pin at some point. That's like male, female-ish. It's got the colors for both. It's one of the Gyna species.
Interesting.
And I dug it out. I put it back in the colony and then was like, what am I doing? If it passes away, it gets immediately I need to actually drag it out, but I have all my cockroach examples, but then I can't change the focus, so I haven't been showing because I've got like the dominoes and question marks. Everybody, I've got some of the Chinese medicinal roaches. I only have females left. The sinus. Too many. I have too many roaches. But yeah, this one specifically. Let's do the messed up.
Oh, here it comes. Here it comes.
And so with the light, this species, like this looks like a dark male / light female. It's like larger.
You got to move closer to the mic.
Yeah.
Peter, you were so still that I thought you were frozen, and then you actually like moved like slightly. You moved your mouth, and I was like,
yeah, at one point for like 5 minutes on my screen.
Well, you weren't frozen. You were just that calmly still.
I was
to
wanting to see her gynandromorph cockroach or whatever it is she has there.
Yeah,
I can't. It's too fuzzy for me to see.
Yeah, if you put it on solo layout, Aaron, we might be able to see it a little better.
Down here for that, but yeah, the females are darker. That's normal female. Here, Matt, stay still so I can look at the other.
Oh.
We've got a normal dark female, and then we've got the doofusy one. These guys climb edges, so this is pure chaos that I'm wrangling down here. Woo-hoo-hoo. And the males are so quick. Oh boy. Pure chaos. Skunk. One second, Matt. Woo. So compared to that, the males are super light on this species.
Oh, yeah.
There.
There it goes.
There's the male. And then that darker one's a female. And then, like I said, this one's got the lightness of the male. And
Oh, that one's gone forever. Oh, she got it.
no, I'm quick at it's the camera I can't handle. The roaches are handleable. You can see it has like the
Interesting.
dark spots the males normally have, but on that dark background like a female. It's a really
That's
weird
interesting.
roach. I'm really excited to, like I said, see. I don't think it's going to breed or be. Can you refocus? I don't think it's going to breed or do anything of that sort. So it's not like I can make more of them. Because the genitals, I have a good picture online of cockroach this and that's because that's something to take photos of. But they seem like they're split and very abnormal. So I'm guessing that that's like, it's like a mule and it's not going to be able to actually breed. But yeah, that's the first time I've gotten like a wonky roach besides just having.
I don't think I've ever had one like that.
I didn't know if you've ever heard of it.
Which is amazing because I've had so many roaches over the years. Statistically, you'd think that I had seen one by now because they pop up in the hobby from, one species to another. See him. I did see someone sent me a picture of a stag beetle. You guys probably all saw it on Instagram too, because it was probably one of those viral photos of a stag beetle that was half female and half male recently.
Well, and some of them are bilateral.
Wild once.
Mm-hmm.
When I was at San Diego Zoo, I met someone that collected those specifically. They had a ton of moths and butterflies that were the male-female counterparts.
And that's the thing. If you can find who that was, I would love to get it somewhere where somebody else more intelligent can appreciate it. It's just going to end up in my collection. It's going to add to my freezer.
They spent a lot of money on some of those specimens.
I bet. Well, and it's one of the only species I have that you could really even tell because it's so dimorphic in general. I wouldn't be able to tell if one of my other species was like.
They had a tarantula specimen too that was
bilateral. I've seen those. Yeah, weird. Genetics. That's the trippy thing. I know the tarantula, the exotic pet collective that did the tarantula thing recently. They started talking about like outsourcing genetics and stuff, which seems semi-taboo in some tarantula hobbyists. Are like stark. It doesn't matter about inbreeding. Don't even worry about it. It's nothing to do with. I've heard that a lot as an opinion, and I've been like, if you can, it doesn't hurt to try. Like, are you just protecting yourself because you don't put the effort into trying to outbreed, and so you're trying to also pretend there's a scientific reason behind it? Because I don't know, genetics are genetics at a certain point, I guess. So
yeah,
everybody gets to do what they want. I listened to that podcast too, and I thought it was great. That she is trying to acquire specimens to do that science on them and to learn about, what the diversity profile of the specimens currently in the hobby is. And
the vicularia.
Once they do that groundwork, they'll be able to maybe make some sense of whether it really does matter or not. But that's just one family of spiders. I mean, the tarantula hobby is huge, but really, it's just one family of spiders within a very broad hobby. I find it very interesting, but like I said, it's just tarantulas. Tarantulas are very, very popular, and but it's a narrow thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I know even in the reptile hobby, they talk about line breeding being okay because naturally, especially in amphibians, like naturally they can't extend their range because of environmental inabilities and or just sedentary nature. So versus birds, you're going to have a smaller pool. So it's just interesting to see like what does that mean for the hobby as far as reaching out. I encourage it with mantises and everything else because I just like networking. So it's like, hey, you got a mantis, I got a mantis, let's be buddies. Like, And I always follow my mom's rule. Don't ever give anything away that you're expecting to get back. It's just the best way to have an easy relationship with everybody and everybody. That's just, if it happens to come back your way, that's great, but don't get too upset. It's not, I just want more people to meet more bugs. We're not making deals here that are going to break relations. So that's definitely the mantis hobby. It's that weird, like you're competing because you have so many nymphs at once that you need to get rid of them. So you're competing at the same time as needing to network in order to keep the species alive, especially with the difference in a male and female's age. Like the males that you need are going to be later down the road. So with certain species, orchids specifically, but
the plights of being a breeder.
So just hide in the background, know your 4 friends that you can trade with, and then meet everybody else. It's like, the amount of times I'm asked for a male and female orchid, and like just that like face palm moment where you're like, well, I could do that, and you're not going to be happy with the results because you're gonna learn by spending a lot of money. So it's interesting to come at that with like, I want to educate you, but you're going to learn on your own either way. So I'll link you to the things you can read, but I only have so much time to tell everybody the same, well, you can't just get a male and female orchid. Here's why. I need to start doing like the boilerplate responses. Like, here's my thing on orchid mantis breeding. Here's a thing on mantis care. I usually just send them to Bugs in Cyberspace's YouTube. I'm lazy. I'm like, Peter's got the best mantis care video there is. So just go.
Well, thank you very much for that.
It's great. You're that one that you have that goes through. I mean, the biggest hurdle that people don't realize they're going to have is the fruit flies. It's just like, well, your mantises it's not going to be the only bug you're going to have. You're going to have more bugs. So this is your starter bug.
Yep. You have to care for the feeders properly if you're going to care for your pet.
Yep. And Russ, that live stream you did on the fruit fly cultures was also awesome. You go for, I've been making them from scratch a few times, and I just gave up and started getting Josh's frogs, and then I just add a little bit. Usually I'll add like a banana, some more potato flakes, a little bit more methylparaben, because I stretched out the methylparaben that would have been used for the original stuff. But yeah, I tried doing it myself, but it just didn't
cultures.
What was that?
You still make your own fruit fly cultures?
I do. I've used other media.
Mm-hmm.
But I go through so much of it that it's just cheaper to make my own.
Wow. This guy, you're also the guy that made your own beetle jellies too, though.
Yes, but now I've converted to yours. Yours are easier.
Yeah. There's so many aspects to being a keeper. Like make the food that the feeders eat that are eaten by your pets. That's dedication right there.
Yep.
I've always find that kind of an interesting part of the process. I guess, when I was a kid, I was breeding Daphnia and raising microworms and stuff like that to feed to my fish. And I've just kind of always gone with that, watching that entire process where you're creating the trophic pyramid underneath your pets is just kind of fun.
I think one of the first videos of yours I ever saw was of the Daphnia in a bucket.
Yeah.
Bucket.
That's like a 9-year-old video or something now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's important to you because you have a huge YouTube channel and you're educating lots of people that you understand, everything from beginning to the end, from, what's in this product and what things need to be in there to make a healthy feeder for the end pet, whatever it is. So it's good to do those kinds of things.
Right. Although it does depend. Yeah. In many situations, it's not cost effective or time effective for people to do that stuff from scratch. If you can just pick up some media from Josh's frogs or whatever, then it's going to make sense. It's going to be easier to do in a lot of cases.
It makes sense for me.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, in the full cycle, when I did environmental science and I was focusing on kind of gardening and this and that. And so that was one of the main pulls towards cockroaches is I was like, there's enough species that some of them are probably edible, and if nothing else, they'll compost for me because I could never really get a worm bin going. They're a little too wet and they usually attract fruit flies and stuff. But the cockroaches, you can kind of vary them into a dry setup so that they aren't getting other pests in them. And so that was one of, and mealworms. I did a lot of the mealworm styrofoam, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, just seeing the full cycle. And then once my fruit flies are gross, I just dump all the gross fruit fly stuff into one of the cockroach bins, or worst comes to worst, into the chickens. And yeah, the chickens are really the base benefactors of my collection for sure. But yeah, just that full, like, where this will end up. I mean, it's just an ecosystem that I put into a bunch of separate jars, but it's like this animal will probably eat the waste from that animal, which will thrive from being fed to this animal. That it's kind of, I find that to be kind of how Animals at Home Canada talks about improving your keeping and improving your enclosures as being part of how you help the hobby scratch the itch of the hobby. You can just work with your enclosures, and I like the cyclical use of when you're cleaning enclosures. Like, oh, it's snake cleaning day, I get to feed the isopods, and just that's some of my favorite parts about the hobby. So when people are like, how do you care for them, I'm like, well, there's a whole system here. I can't just I'll tell you how you should care for them, but you're probably not going to be raising the mass amounts of critters that I have. So
that is a great thing. It's nice when I know that I have a snake that didn't eat, for example. I can give that food to the isopods, and they're gonna go right through it. It's the same kind of thing. I love that.
Oh, that fingernail footage. I'm pretty sure that got under some people's skin. Richard was like, well, we got to try it out. And I have the best cameras, so if you've ever not seen a fingernail, let me give you like a 10 times macro shot.
I have a massive anthill that's in my backyard right here. I just give all the food scraps and leftovers to that thing. It just vanishes very fast.
Oh, nice.
It's your offerings. Just
I made them lazy. I used to see them all over the place, and now that I started doing that, they just wait for me now. They're just like, bring it, bring the offering. Maybe that's the trick to keeping ants out of your house. You just got to give an offering every day to appease them.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think that. The ants are the one. I just try not to worry about it. And worst comes to worst, the areas in my bug room that are super able to get from the outside to the in are just coated in diatomaceous earth, so nothing can crawl across it. And really, but I just gave up on the ants. They get to just live here. Worst comes to worst, it's something I did wrong. So same thing with mold with tarantulas. It's like, well, the substrate was too wet for too long, or you didn't just use it as a learning example for yourself instead of just being angry at an entire group of animals that are taking advantage of the waste that you made. It's like,
I love ants. I love watching them. Even when they come in the house, I get mad for a second, then all of a sudden, I spend the next 30 minutes watching what they're doing, and I'm like, oh wait, I need to be doing something about this. This is awesome.
Oh, I know you're erasing their trails and then watching them try to figure out how to get back on trail. I know.
There's a break in the line.
Where are the smells? How has it happened? Yeah, they're busy critters. They're doing what they need to do. That's why they're so.
These ants out here, they're harvester ants, and they don't really have a line. They just spread out all over the place.
Are they the?
Yeah. Okay. You don't have the fire ants.
Pogonomyrex, is that the one? Is it? Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know my ants very well, but I know that they're a harvester ant. I do know that they have a big head.
Yeah, those live here too. And when I was a kid, we had a big hill in the backyard under some concrete, and my mom gave me the dubious charge to get rid of this colony, and I tried all these things, but I became much more fascinated with the ants and watching them live than trying to get rid of them. And I actually became immune to their stings over a period of time.
Oh no!
Because I had been stung so many times. After a while, it just didn't do anything.
It happens.
Peter would instantly swell and die. Not kidding.
Oh, do you get reactions to stings? Are you a sting?
Yeah, my immune system is a little overactive when something comes at me. So, yeah, it doesn't. Mosquitoes, stings of various kinds, the chiggers, it just goes crazy. So, yeah, fortunately I'm hardly ever bitten or stung by anything, but I'm in a new place now.
I was going to say, testing that.
Well, give it time, champ. Give it time.
Yeah.
You're in your bed. Yeah, I definitely have sometimes I'm fine. And I think it's just the difference between wasp species, like a yellow jacket versus a hornet and stuff. Sometimes I'm totally fine. And there's one or two species that I've had to deal with full body uh-ohs. So
I'm convinced
Avoid
that
them.
mosquitoes just die when they bite me. Like, I don't ever get mosquito bites, so I'm just convinced that they land on me. They land on me, but then they just like immediately drop dead or something. I don't know.
weird.
I don't
I don't get mosquito bites either.
yeah.
What?
Same thing.
Oh.
I did as a kid, but not anymore.
Yeah, I definitely did as a kid. Yeah, but it's been a long time since it had like an actual mosquito bite. I feel like.
Yeah, I've just tried to outsmart them in the yard. I have spots that I know have water in them, and I flip them at a certain consistency, so they've definitely laid their eggs in there. And then if I get rid of that bucket, that's a whole generation that thought it was gonna make it through. You can't do it with like a running stream on your property, but when you just have, I have a bunch of the pitcher plants that like standing water, the trumpet vines, the Sarracenia. And so those are just mosquito magnets. So I just flip them enough. I've seen that tactic with feeding chickens. You can have a compost pile that if you time it right and add the chickens after the flies have settled in and the spikes are starting to form, you can actually get a free protein rotation for your chickens just by timing your compost addition correctly.
No, that makes sense.
Peter, why don't you should get some chickens, Peter. I mean, you got the property for it now.
Turkeys.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm trying to convince him to get a cow so we can get a bunch of dung beetles on the property.
There you go.
To get away from mosquitoes and closer to all the bugs that I like. I don't know about mammals and birds yet. I'm enjoying. I just saw a woodpecker while we were talking here out on my hummingbird feeder on the other side of the window here. I was going to flip the camera around real quick, but it flew off. But I don't know about pet birds.
Yeah.
Not sure
they
about
tear
that.
it up.
I got to get my bug colony set back up properly.
At a certain time, you're just feeding the
We
wild.
need to bring the dung beetles in, Peter. We got to get those cows out there.
Yeah.
I can hear them on the other side of the fence. They're out there at night. Every time I hear one, I think about dung beetles and jumping over to go look. But usually it's at night the cows are making noises.
We just need to go to Patagonia Lake anyways, because that's where they all were last time.
Well, yeah, that other kind of dung beetle. I want to see the Phanius down
Yeah,
here.
true. Yeah.
I know Aaron. Russ, have you had the Phanius Vindex yet?
I haven't.
Okay, I got to send you some of those next year because you have to feature them on your channel. I know Aaron's had them.
Guys.
Yeah,
those
Those
are
are
great.
rainbowy ones.
The rainbows. Yep.
Yeah.
They ate a lot of dung. I got dung every week last year. Just went out. I like hanging out with cows anyway, and they're a real friendly cow herd that I know, and they're all organic, so I don't have to worry about. I mean, everybody treats their animals with wormers, so trying to find an animal that I even felt safe about collecting dung for, I was immediately like, I want more people to have dung beetles because they'll suddenly realize that all of the dung in the area is poisoned. It's much harder to find dung than I thought there'd be.
Wow.
So, but yeah, no, they were great. And I kept their enclosure damp. It was still damp at the bottom. And I ended up finding some brood balls that were just half formed. So just not wet enough. I should have had something because I had the layer of the expanded clay pellets and then the rest of the clay and soil for about 8 inches or so. And I think the expanded clay pellets did what they were supposed to do and didn't let the moisture come up. So I should have mixed some sphagnum moss in there to have a wicking.
It seems like where people go wrong is generally it's a moisture-related issue.
Yeah, out of
And the
season.
root
Not
ball
paying attention.
formation, or even after they've formed, they forget about them, or more often they don't even know that they were successful in getting brood balls, and they stop seeing the females and forget about it.
I just assumed the best and expect the worst. So it's like, I'm just going to treat it like they're in there. And like I said, I kept it moist. I could see the darkness to the soil, but I don't know where they're at. The winters are probably a lot wetter. So I should have just been soaking it each week instead of assuming the dissipation would have worked. So, but they were there. The brood balls were pretty small. So I think the beetles that would have formed in them would have been minors. I really like the biology behind them. The fact that they have a major and a minor male, that's not something you learn about very easily. That was fun to see, the dimorphic within a sex instead of between them.
Yeah. They're great, and their horn is so disproportionately large compared to the animal on the major males. And we have 2 species down here that I've never seen before, like right here in this county that we live in now. And I'm really, those are probably the 2 insects that I'm most excited about seeing here. And now is the time, like just as soon as the rains start, which are coming on Monday, and it's going to rain all week. But when it rains, it only rains for a little while, and then it dries up, and then it's just like the bugs explode in the evenings and at night. But those are diurnal, of course, and so they'll be flying.
They're really active, yeah.
Yeah. If you keep them really warm, they'll want to fly immediately. They're great flyers. A lot of people don't realize that.
We didn't have a problem with that in Oregon, but when I started packing those things in Arizona, they were charged.
Yeah, because you got in a big group before you moved. I saw that.
I was like, I better leave a lid on this time.
Yeah, no, they're definitely active, and that's just interesting to see. So, are they whenever time they smell sort of a critter? Are they not crepuscular or diurnal so much as like if there's dung and it's fresh, they're out?
No, they're diurnal. They're diurnal. Yeah. The sun is what really activates them, and so the hottest part of the day they're flying around.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my neighbor has 2 cows, and he does it all organically. So I think I'm set up.
All right.
Do it.
All right.
Yep. Like I said, they definitely, if you get a deep enough clay soil for them, they definitely burrowed and made everything was set up. And you already did the blue death feigning beetles, so you're set up for your next challenge.
Yeah.
Which did you get? You've got adults for those?
Canthon.
I'll tell you one of the best find. Wait, what?
Go ahead. See.
No, you're good.
Oh, I was just gonna tell Russ that we can send him some Canthon soon. The black ones. They're not as pretty, but it'll give you a good practice.
We'll get the green ones too. We'll get the smaller green ones too.
That's right. Those are also Canthon. You're right. They're really beautiful, metallic green.
Oh, those sound fantastic too.
Yeah. Considerably smaller, and they don't have the impressive horn, but a good practice dung beetle.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Practice dung.
Phrases you will only hear in certain circles, but
the hobby.
Training wheels.
Yeah, exactly.
I tell you, one of the best finds I found out here so far was that click beetle. That
the eastern
beetle.
The eye,
cool.
yeah, those are beautiful.
I don't know if that's the eastern though. I'm assuming it.
No, it's Western species.
Yeah,
Western only. I have it right here.
Oh, you have one? Yep. There you go.
Yes.
Aha!
Oh,
click,
wow!
Click! Stop touching.
That is fantastic.
Oh, and the underside has a white eye as well. Is there something on the underside of his?
Got ocelli on both sides.
Whoop!
Oh,
boing.
There it goes.
There are some colors on the underside.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Okay, cool.
Whoa.
Wow.
It's a click beetle, and so it makes that clicking noise,
Yeah.
and will escape.
One of my favorite childhood pets, for sure. Or play out in the woods playthings. It's like, it pops.
I named it Peter Jr. Kidding.
That is so fantastically large too. You never see click beetles that big around here.
Yeah.
That is just.
Wow. I didn't even think it was real for a second. I thought like Peter was playing a prank on me or something like that. It was on the edge of the fence.
Clay
and I was
models.
like, he set this here. Like, there's no way.
That's got to be at least 1.5 inches long, isn't it? Maybe bigger.
Huge.
Yeah.
Thickness of the thumb twice.
Maybe just a hair over 1.5 inches.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Awesome. Do you ever see the eye? Oh, not in Utah, I guess.
No, not really. I've maybe one-eyed. Well, but it's not a common thing for sure.
Yeah. Yep. Didn't see any of these in Oregon, so it was neat to get up in the morning and Jesse had this thing waiting for me, and I'm sending this one off to invertebrate dude Tristan.
Nice.
And, we don't know whether it's a male or a female, but he's going to see if he can work his magic with it. I have a couple from Texas that are a different species that I'm going to send to him as well, and they're Alaus lucciosus is the species, and this is Zunianus.
Oh. Yeah, because he's doing the glow beetles and stuff as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of success with those.
Yeah.
Hey, I just realized what time it is. Do you have any more giveaways you're doing?
I was just about to as well. Yeah, Jesse. I think Richard must have just time zones, man. Who knows? He's probably going to jump on 2 hours from now. But
did I tell you about the first time when we did our thing with the exotic?
I watched all 5 hours of it. I put y'all on. I put y'all on 1.5 speed because I'm not about to.
He didn't realize that. He told me it was a 4-hour difference, and so I was like, waiting to get on for like an hour before because it was only 3-hour difference. And I was like, hey, I'm ready to go. And he's like, dude, it's not another hour. And I'm like, well, this is a problem.
I don't know if people show up, if they don't. Either way, I'm always super supportive of Richard. I can't wait to see the rest of his projects.
Man,
I love the like desert scene style.
Oh yeah, like the documentary
so fun.
style is pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like that last video. I have really horrible service, like I said, so it just kept freezing on me. But I got through most of that tarantula conservation video, which was really cool.
Yeah, that was great. Super fun person to talk to. Just listening to somebody that's in the biology department, like all of my like happy tingle. I was like, oh, she's talking about all the biology. Yes, finally. Yes. Talk about the null hypothesis some more. Please. Science them hard. But yeah, that was a super fun. I liked the Patricia with the Spinneret magazine and her like look at psychology through the hobby and like working, because the tarantula hobby seems to be such an addictive hobby. I mean, they all are, to be fair, but I definitely see that like, oh, I got a tarantula. I got 5 tarantulas. I've got 16, 18. I don't know. I don't count anymore because I just keep getting tarantulas.
It always takes one.
Like Peter says, what is with these tarantula people? There's so many other spiders.
They're pretty low maintenance, so you can keep a lot of them, and you don't have to look at, you don't have to spend much time with them.
I will say this though, like if you go to a zoo, every insect zoo has like 5 or 6 tarantulas taking up half of their little insect zoo that they have there. And it's like pointless. Like you're never going to see those things out. They're always in their burrow. They're always hiding. They never have those like hide burrows that are right in the front half the time. Like you see like a leg most of the time in there. And I'm always telling them like they either need to get males, even though they live like 5 years, but at least they're going to not really just be in some burrow. They're going to be walking around a lot more than the female.
They always have those same 4 species that are totally
not every time.
Fossorial.
And Richard was talking about that in one of his podcasts recently, that basically part of the reason why people get so many tarantulas is that they're hiding so much of the time that if you get 10, you're going to have a hope that maybe you'll see one of them out doing something at some point.
Right. That's how I explained it to my mom when I was a kid. Look, if I got 20 of them, I'll see one finally. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's a collect 'em all. I mean, I kind of also look at it as like the final culmination of a whole generation of people that played Pokemon.
Gotta catch them all.
I kind of see that in the hobby. I mean, the isopods especially. It's just like, oh, but you just have a couple shoe boxes. Don't mind my shoebox pile of dirt. It's fine.
That's actually, it's funny you mentioned Pokemon, because when I was a kid, when that game came out in like 93 or 95 or whatever, when it got really popular or whatever, I remember people saying to me, oh, you got to play this Pokemon game. You would love it. And I was like, okay, what it's about? And they're like, yeah, you go out and you like catch all these things and all this stuff. And I'm like, you just explained my life. Like, what are you talking about? Why do I need to play this? Like, I'm already doing that.
I actually brought this book out because I knew Jesse would have immediate childhood. I remember you
mean that one?
I remember you talking about the painted grasshopper, and I was like, I love the painted grasshopper picture. Like, it immediately like popped up in my brain. I was like, that was the picture that I was like, this painted grasshopper, someday I'm gonna see it. But yeah, this book was
Peter immediately witnessed me turn 8 years old that year.
It's the painted.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite videos. That's my favorite day of collecting ever. That day where we found them and you got to see them for the first time. And
it was legendary.
Videos I've ever made where you were encountering it for the first time. And I got that as well, but I didn't get it when I was a kid. I got it considerably later, and I don't know if that's because
you had the camera on you. You had the camera for it.
What?
Did you get him on camera finding it? Or
he did.
Yes, I've got the video in my Arizona playlist here on YouTube.
He's really good at catching my most sensitive moments. He's really good at it.
All of your emotions and none of your composure, and you're just like, oh, yep, I guess that's who I am on the internet now.
I don't post them all, though, Jesse.
Yeah, thankfully. But boy, does he have a whole backlog of blackmail, that's for sure.
There's been a few times during the conversation so far when you were talking about the ants and the dung beetles where I wanted to prompt you to tell particular stories, but I didn't.
Uh-oh, yeah. Like I said, we just need to have an invert live tube all the time, every week, just like.
Yeah, well, it would be live.
Or maybe we'll edit it out so it's kid friendly. I want the kids to like the bugs, but who knows what we end up accidentally talking about. Okay, so I'm gonna have, since we have a couple to give away, I'm gonna have each of you pick a number between something and something because I have 3 sheets that haven't had winners on them yet.
I choose something.
Okay.
I choose something.
You get something out of something? I don't know. That might be the wrong.
I choose the number something.
So Peter, you're 1 through 38.
I'll go for a 5.
You're 5 in everybody, and this one doesn't have 100 added, so they're gonna be really happy because they did. I didn't say that originally, so number 5 was like yay, and then it was like 105. Oh, and then Russ, you're between 113 and 148.
113 and 148. Okay.
What do I get? What do I get?
Wait your turn. Wait your turn.
Jeez, Jesse.
Sheesh.
117.
117. That's weirdly the same number down as the 105 on the last one. That's weird, you guys.
Oh.
And Jesse, you're 149 through 172.
149.
Deal. Okay. Lady Linoleum, Moths and Mantids, and Mantid Queen. Rad. Cool. Good people. Okay, and then we have one more giveaway after that. But beyond that, yay.
You know, I feel like if I met the Mantid Queen, I feel like I should get to go to like some awesome quest or journey or something like that. Like she hands me an item and I just like go
sort of
collect every mantis or something.
I think we'd lose you. I think you would be gone forever if you met the Mantis Queen, Jesse.
That's a good point.
Offer her a t-shirt.
Possible.
Hey, Peter, I had a question. I mean, everybody on here. So I understand from Lowit, but I might misunderstand, but it's always the same question. What's the plural for mantis?
For mantis? Mantises.
It's a mantis. Mantises. And then a group, there's
No,
a genus.
if it was mantid, I would say mantids.
So, and the difference between mantis and mantid is a type of genus. It's a group of mantises.
There's a family of mantises.
Family.
So your orchid mantises are in the family Hymenopodidae.
Yep.
Stagmomantis or Chinese mantis is in the family Mantidae, DAE at the end. And so we used to say that you don't want to call an orchid mantis a mantid. You would want to call it a hymenopid or hymenopodid. And that you could call a Chinese mantis, Tevidera sinensis, a mantid because it's in the family Mantidae. However, at some point recently, and I always defer to this as the decider of things, for me personally, Bug Guide now calls everything that's a mantis a mantid. And so
those
they kind of blurred the lines in something that didn't used to really be blurry among people who wanted to follow the science, the taxonomy, that terminology versus hobby terminology. So you can't do
that. What little stinker.
You can't do wrong now. Like you can say whatever you want and no one can say anything to the contrary. You can't be wrong.
And that's the easiest. I mean, I worked at a Euro joint for a while. So Euro, gyro, gyro, gyro. I don't care. You want a sandwich? I just said sandwich back because I didn't want to insult them by mispronouncing it. And then they'd be like, well, that lady said it was like that. I'm just like, you want a sandwich? Some meat in it. We can do that.
Right. Speaking of Euros, we were out. Where were we, Peter? Where was that?
We were at a location that we will not say.
Right. We were
I
at
want
this
to know where you
location,
live.
and I had what's called a barbecue Euro, and it was so Americanized. It was hilarious, but it was actually quite delicious. I won't lie. It was
you mean a soft taco?
It was like it was so Americanized.
Euro.
Awesome. Hey, Peter, have you ever seen this book? Does that look familiar to you? Broadsides from the other orders. Yeah,
I have that book. It's a terrific book.
I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of bug books that are like, I still kind of think bugs are scary. Here's some story about scary bugs. And then at the end, it's like, that had no sympathy or interest in any of those things.
Society.
This is a great book. I loved it.
She talks a lot about the Xerxes Society in that, which is really cool.
Yep. And she's raising camel crickets in it. So she's talking about like spending Christmas watching her camel crickets molt. And I'm just like, oh, you're a true hobbyist.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good one as far as suggestions for beyond like, Olive Oren's books. I've got most of my. I got the cockroach one is is that his like Beyond Phasmids? Was that one of his like focuses? Like, why is the cockroach book so large? I mean, I know the complexity of cockroaches allows for it, but beyond that, like, it's such a big book.
He has a roach named after him. We can start the conversation there. So, of course, that's one of his favorite groups. He's one of the. He's sort of like the grandfather of the U.S. roach hobby, and we run roachforum.com together. It's my forum, but he spends way more time on it than I do. And he's one of the original sources for every species of cockroach here in the U.S. hobby. There was a time in the 90s where there was another guy named Roachman Richie, Richard Willis. Have you ever heard of him?
No, but man, committing.
He's a legend among old timers. Russ, I'm sure you remember him.
I may have seen
straight
some
to
of
old.
stuff.
Russ, you're not an old timer. You're as young as
Russ is an old timer in the bug hobbies. And so anyway, those two guys were responsible, or not for importing them, but once they were here in the United States, managing to acquire every single roach. And that was one of the first books that he did write. And it also has this adorable picture of his daughter from 20 years ago on the cover, which every time I see that book, she's got like bug eyes. It's just adorable.
Yeah.
And I think it's so neat that she's on the cover of that. I know you're looking for the book right now, so I keep talking to give you that extra few seconds too.
He's got like the extra all the other books he's written in the back, so I'm just seeing if it's one of that because this is the like big volume.
Yeah, that's the hardcover book.
Of course,
I'm
I've got
talking
the
about the soft cover. Sorry.
No, this was one of those like, well, if you want to get me something for Christmas, it is a pretty penny, but that's what happens when you have a good book. Like,
right.
Part of the trade-off is make it worth it.
So,
cockroach book.
He's taken notes on every species of roach that he's ever kept, extensive notes about the entire life cycle and the time for each part of it. And so he's really great at taking notes.
Yep.
Which is why he writes the books.
Yeah, somebody's got to do it. I'm not about to sit down and tell everybody.
He's asked me to help him edit a grasshopper book that he's working on, which I think I had mentioned to you, Aaron, recently, a new book that he's going to be putting out here pretty soon.
Is it just grasshoppers specifically, or is it orthopters?
Kids and
pet grasshoppers.
So,
yeah. And I'm curious to see the book because I might want to throw some pictures and some suggestions for additions based on things that we find. I know the lubber grasshopper will be in there. I don't know if the painted grasshopper will be there or not, which I'd like to see it as well as a couple others, but they don't have a great.
I really want to see if I can get those to survive. That's a project I want to work on.
Right.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see him again. And someone photographed him and posted it to Bug Guide here, like basically in my backyard recently. They photographed a nymph, a very young nymph on a plane.
Yeah, I'm shocked we haven't seen a single nymph out here yet.
Yeah. We need to get out some more.
I guess so. It's going to start raining.
That's not what you guys.
In a day is what we need.
I need to find one of those mantis bits.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen two of them so far.
Have you? Awesome.
Yeah, just in the yard. Yeah, I posted one video.
I remember seeing the one you posted. Yeah, that was super cool.
Yeah, they're the best. Such a unique looking insect, and so mantis-like.
Yeah, the convergence is fantastic.
Hundreds of them on the sheet here, pretty soon.
Yeah, convergent evolution is always. I was trying to. Everybody at the expo, I had my cat mantises out. Are you gonna come over here? I had one just on a stick because they're so docile. They'll just sit there all day.
Cats have converged. It's amazing.
And that's everybody who walked by is like, look at the stick insect. And I was like, nope, I do not have stick insects here. First of all, don't tell everybody that. Let's change the conversation into a biology lesson. So, and had to prove it. I was like, look, it's eating other bugs. It's definitely a mantis. And like finally because it's amazing how the human brain, it's kind of what I was talking about with Jesse. Once you draw something, you actually see the anatomy, but the like assumption your brain makes when you see something, you can't quite see where its head is or what shape. It's like, oh, those don't have reptoral. And it's like, well, it's a reptoral that's actually folded. So yeah, just watching people like be able to engage with the animal fully to like change their view of the animal in such a simple way. Just being like, oh, that's a predator. It's actually eating a thing in front of me, not just I assumed it was a stick.
Speaking of this, of what we're talking about right now, I'm gonna give you a insight of a future sticker pack that I'm going to be doing. I'm actually going to draw animals that mimic things like stick insects, leaf bugs, and different things like that, or moths that mimic bees or bee flies. And then I'm going to draw their counterpart that they're mimicking. And I'm going to have a sticker pack that has those two mixed in together. So I'm going to draw leaves, and I'm going to draw a leaf bug. I'm going to draw sticks, and I'm going to draw a stick bug. And then it's going to be like, can you tell which is which? But I'm going to draw them to where they almost look identical, except for like the legs will kind of shape out a little bit differently.
That spot,
but they'll be almost the same image. It's a kind of a challenge I've thrown to myself for this whole thing, but it's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be a really cool sticker pack.
Yeah, that's an awesome idea.
That's such a good part of biology. Just so interesting that so many species have found the mechanics that work well over and over and over again.
Like I'm definitely going to have an ant in there, and then I'm going to definitely have a ant mimicking spider in there, and they'll be almost identical of a drawing, but there'll just be those differences. You know, the legs will look different. You know, and of course there'll be 8 legs for the spider. So
I'm immediately thinking of a thing where you pair the things that look completely different, like one of the lion, the Dobson flies, where they're the pit trap critters at first.
Yeah, I want to do a series.
These are the same animal.
Yeah, I want to do a series.
Trying to teach farmers what ladybugs look like most of their life was like really difficult. Like,
I'm thinking about
killing those.
Well, for that design, I'm thinking about actually combining those as 2 images as like kind of like one. We'll have like the male Dobson fly and the female, and it'll be all in one image, and then I'll do that for multiple sexual dimorphism. So
nice, super fun. Man, did you guys see that? I got the insects French post, the classic French naturalist poster with all the insects on it on the white background. My mom got me that as a puzzle. It's the hardest puzzle. It's all wings and legs and white. There's no like. It's really hard. I had a whole bunch of friends working on it for so long, and they don't know anything about insects, so they don't have that like recognition of like the different. So they're just like putting green beetles together. It's like, no, there's 3 different green beetles. Stop trying to make it fit. But man, we've been working on that puzzle for hours, and it's just been this frustrating pile of wings.
Yeah, I wanted to make a circular puzzle out of my Live Together design, but it's so expensive to make it.
Yeah, what's the process of making a puzzle?
Well, I mean, I haven't really found a spot that does like wholesale stuff. I did find one, but you have to buy like 100-something puzzles to do it. I'm like, I'm not ready for that yet. But like to go get like a single puzzle made, it's in the hundreds of dollars for most places, depending on how many pieces.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just because it's
Yeah, I mean, I want to make a good puzzle of it. I don't just want a little puzzle. But we'll see. Eventually, it's the thing that's in the back of my mind.
I ended up getting on the train with did you see the Thrasher art plushies that came out? The Brood-X cicada plushies? Oh, yeah. I might have gone overboard. My partner got the PS5 in this, and I was like, well, I want to splurge. So I might have bought like 57 of them. They all come apart. And so I'm hoping to like take them all apart and get a picture with like over 100 of both the molts and the cicadas like in a room. Awesome. Brood-X. But yeah, I pre-ordered so many.
I will send you this person's info, but I get some really awesome plushies made of different bugs from a friend of mine.
You have an orchid mantis one, don't you? Or
no, I have a double flower mantis.
Yeah, you have the double flower.
Awesome. And then I have a peanut head bug too, and it's really cool. So I'll send you her contact info because I promise you, she'll make anything. You could send her any bug and she'll be able to make it. It's insane.
It's not Weird Bug Lady, is it?
No.
It's not this chick. Yeah, because this is the other the bug plushie person. She does like the felt plushies.
Oh yeah, those are cool. No, I gotta say that she does a lot of custom stuff, and she also does like a lot of cosplay costuming for people and stuff. But Yeah, she does some cool stuff.
A
I
good
don't even know
plushie. You
what
can't beat a good
plushies
plushie.
are. What's a plush?
Stuffed animal. Stuffed animal. Sorry,
Why do you say
Peter.
stuffed animal?
Because
Peter,
it's not.
Peter, get with the lingo, Peter.
Because
all
yeah,
right?
plushies weigh like.
Look, I only spent 10 years of my life in a like
Stuffed
zoo
animals
gift
were a
shop,
90s.
so you know. Like,
It's your plushie department when you're at your zoo. I actually have a praying mantis stuffed animal that I wanted to buy it when my mom and I were driving across the country, and I wanted to buy it in Niagara Falls, but it was across the border, so it was in Canadian. So I just didn't want to like transfer the cash all for this one and only. And I had like active nightmares about not getting it while we were driving back across the country. I was like, I really wanted that plushie. It was a praying mantis. I wanted a praying mantis plushie with magnets, so it hung to anything you wanted it to. It was
Oh,
the
that's
best plushie
cool.
ever. Yeah. And then we got to the zoo in Utah, and they had the same plushie in there, and I was like, oh, thank goodness, this was gonna haunt me. I was gonna have to make my own. So it's still in my car. I'm definitely the plushie praying mantis Honda Civic hatchback. So I got
that's
it.
That's all I envisioned Peter's bedroom. It's just a bunch of bug plushies. It's adorable.
You guys are a bunch of
Animals.
nerds. A bunch of nerds.
Just wait till we start talking about Star Trek 5 hours in. I saw that moment of like the like ramp up. You're like, oh, nerd stuff, and I was like, uh-oh.
Here we go.
Here we
Well,
go.
I gotta get going. I gotta go start making dinner. So
For sure. Yep. And let's do we only had one more, and it was Russ's. So Russ, pick a number between 1 and 172.
1 and 172. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see. 88.
88. There's the last winner. Rad, guys. Thank you so much. Jesse, I'm so excited to see all the new sticker designs. I'm just going to put that out there.
I'll send them your
Especially
way
when
I
you-
get them there.
I don't want to. I know the artistic energy necessary, so I'm not going to push the spiny flower as aggressive as I always push the
100.
spiny
It's
flower.
100%
Because it
happening.
doesn't matter to me, but I want to see it so bad.
It is 100% going to happen. I guarantee it. So
Rad. Awesome. Yeah, super stoked. And Skyland, like I said, get all your build your cockroach bed.
please,
that'll
Peter, we have to.
Yeah.
Cockroach
I've
shaped
seen like a
hot
race
tub.
car design, but with a cockroach,
Listen.
right? Like the race car bed.
Listen, Peter,
but-
a cockroach shaped hot tub, huh? A dung beetle shaped
No.
hot tub.
A
Not really.
toe biter
That sounds inviting.
shaped hot tub. Awesome. Well, yeah, thank you guys so much. It is I think, Richard had technical difficulties. The technical guru himself had technical difficulties, but that's
I'm
okay.
shocked
And
I
I
actually made it
will
through here.
I will link you guys with the people that you drew their numbers for
Sure.
prizes.
Sure.
88 was that final Bug Zoo prize. So congratulations to that outdoor guy who's actually bought and sold mantises to me a few times. So that's really great.
that outdoor guy?
Kelly. Yeah, he just won the Bug Zoo. So
Nice.
there we go. Good job, guys. Thank you, everyone, so much for chatting bugs. Like I said, I think that I'm just going to keep trying to hit different. I'm just going to start making up goals. We're doing this base 10 celebration stuff, but I'm thinking base 2 or 7 is important numbers as well. So we'll just start talking bugs for no good reason. And Jesse, you should do a live stream with some of your mystery package presentations, especially if you're getting better internet. Because it's you guys.
Well, when I get better,
Peter's
when
really
I get
crisp.
that, I will. We'll do that especially for the Sonoran series. So
Fabulous. And once it cools down a bit down there, I'll be definitely looking at visiting. I'm not going midsummer because I'm a big wussy. I'm hiding in the AC right now.
Part of Arizona. We're down, and we're at 5,000 feet of elevation.
Okay,
So
fair
it's
enough. You're up
really
higher.
cooler here.
we
Yeah.
froze.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
We chose wisely.
Everyone froze. Everyone froze. The last second.
Just you, Jesse. Okay, thank you guys so much.
That it?
Thanks for everyone in the
you.
comments. Sorry we didn't. I kind of glanced at the comments. I didn't see any aggressive, like, oh, please answer my question stuff. So thank you for not cluttering. Sometimes live streams you want to be seen and the clutter happens. So thank you everyone in there for handling. Rocky
Everyone
Mountain
is
Spider
frozen
Freaks.
for me. I don't know.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Well,
Oh,
everybody,
wow.
bye-bye, and thank you so much. And I'm
Hey,
not actually
man.
sure how to
Oh, there we go.
log out. So
Bye,
yeah.
Russ. Bye,
See
Thank
y'all.
you so much.
See you
Have a
guys.
great one.
All right.
It's great.
Bye.
See you guys.